suicide. Why do people commit suicides? Is it just because they're unhappy with life or they are asking for help? I'm sure from my end, if you ask me why do people commit suicide, is they need help. They need people to come and support them. And when they don't get support, that is the moment I think they decide or they finalize to take away their lives. This is my personal opinion, but I'd love to know the opinions and the views of other guests who are on my show called the International Fab Talks. Today from Chhattisgarh, she has agreed to share her time with us to create awareness. She's a fabulous speaker and she's very passionate with whatever she takes up. Any project she takes up it with full of passion and dedication. This is what we have to learn. No matter what topic is given to you, if you choose to enter into that particular zone or you want to give your very best to it, you have to work towards it and give your 100%. But here, when it comes to 100%, Shriya ma'am always gives above 100%. That's what I know. And many of the people have told me that Shriya ma'am does her very best. In fact, she walks that extra mile to share her expertise with us. She's an excellent speaker. Let's get to know more about what she has to share today with regard to the World Suicide Prevention Day. Hello, ma'am, and welcome to the session. Thank you so much, Shriya ma'am, for being here with us.
Thank you very much, Andrea, ma'am. And thank you for this lovely introduction. And more importantly, thank you for this platform to discuss such a sensitive topic. When I received the message from you that we're going to talk on suicide prevention, I had a lot in my mind and it was very haphazard. When I started to think of putting it all in a kind of rhythm, I realized that that's no solution, that's no point. It's a vague exercise because suicide in itself is disruption and it's a consequence of disruption. Right now, we are celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi with a lot of religious fervor across the nation. Lord Ganesh is seen as the god of new beginnings, knowledge, and wisdom. He is believed to remove many and absolutely all the obstacles from our lives, and I worship him as the god of joy, satisfaction, and fulfillment. And honestly, I cannot think of a better time to discuss mental health concerns. There are a lot of figures and definitions and jargons that I came across while reading, and I'll try to summarize them here. So, World Health Organization defines mental health as a state of mental well-being that enables people to cope with the stresses in their life, realize their ability, learn well, and work well. Now, since each person is unique, each mind is unique, and therefore every single mental health concern inevitably goes beyond just mental disorders. It's a complex cobweb of difficulty and distress that can manifest in several ways. Suicides, seemingly very impulsive events, but studies have shown that 90% of people who resort to suicides have been suffering from treatable mental illness for a long, long time. According to World Health Organization, over 8 lakh people commit suicide every year, and that's just a documented number. But the real problem isn't just the number here. The real problem is the stigma that shrouds the mental health and suicide. People are definitely talking about suicides, but in hushed tones behind the closed doors. Now it's time that we change that narrative. We break barriers, we raise awareness, and we create a welcoming space for open and honest conversations about suicide as well as self harm. Suicide isn't a crime to commit, it is a public health concern. Do you know approximately 20 suicide attempts are reported per suicide? Like 20. That number counts to something. So, definitely, death oftentimes comes very quick, but the journey to choose death is most definitely not. This treacherous journey begins when a person begins to collapse in terms of thoughts, when his perception begins to contract. When we see the mind is swirling down the vicious circle of lethargy, loneliness, numbness, and eventually oblivion, the place where you end up with no hope, no enthusiasm, only uncertainty. Now, there are various factors that can disrupt our mental health, which can vary from unfavorable social situations, economic, political, environmental instability, too. There are many humanitarian emergencies like personal losses, financial, professional, academic setbacks, discrimination, relationship disputes, misunderstandings, chronic illness and pain, or conflicts, and a lot more, which maybe I haven't mentioned or none of us has mentioned yet. But that's not it. According to National Institute of Health, United States of America, around 50% of suicides are associated with substance abuse and drug dependence. However, suicide and mental illness can also be attributed to one very common social concern or cause, the char log kya kahenge syndrome, the fear of judgment. Like Big Brother's watching. Who's the Big Brother anyway? Yet another trend that I see as a potential hazard is actually the cancel culture. A few years ago, we would often accept the people, we would often agree to disagree. But in the last few years, say 4 5 years, something has changed. There has been a slight shift. And now there is less of acceptance and more of cancellation and boycott. While there could be many other triggers and stimulating stimuli that are disrupting the harmony, there are several other factors that can affect and safeguard the mental health continuum, which are acting at individual, community, national, as well as global levels. Now, please don't be surprised if I say a study I came across mentions that mental illness and suicide tendencies can also be passed down through genetics. Now, suicide, irrespective of its cause or origin, is never a single person's individual problem. It's a social crisis. Hence, in all such cases, what we must do is we must collaborate and put in collective efforts from across sectors at absolutely all the possible levels. Now, today, through this platform, if I reach to the people contemplating suicide, I might not answer your exact concerns or address them. Rather, I might give you some generic advices like this too shall pass. Life is a great gift, treasure it, embrace positivity, move on, blah, blah, blah. And I know you know all of it, right? But at this point, again, these are mere gospels, but also a revision. Regardless of this revision, I urge you to seek professional help as soon as possible. Join support groups, practice self love, even if you feel lonely, and especially if self love feels forced to you. Journal your thoughts, trust. Just trust the process. Journaling clears the clutter in your head, and that can do wonders. Maybe you can try to inculcate a weekly ritual like trying something new, fun, and engaging. Basically, you never know where you might find hope. But, at such times, when one of us is quite literally losing their self concept, there lies a lot more responsibility on our shoulders as a community, as a civilization. Because human civilization thrives on care. Like any other disaster management, the foundational pillars of suicide prevention are identification, analysis, multi-sectoral collaboration, raising awareness, capacity building, surveillance, monitoring, and evaluation. Now, the question arises, how do we identify if a person is suicidal? It can be difficult, and there is no foolproof plan, of course. But you may look for abrupt changes in the behaviors of a person around you, like lack of appetite, or sometimes even overeating, insomnia or sometimes hypersomnia, extreme dependence or hyper independence. If that's not all, you might also find suicidal thoughts or mental concerns lurking in the shadows of their silences, their humor, their laughter, or even care. Once you have identified a person as suicidal, the next step should be that you check on the person regularly and try to find the root cause. There's no need to panic if you find more than one reason. Chances are that these particular instances and these particular panics and concerns have built up and bottled up over long, long years. Encourage your friend, relative, or anybody to seek professional help. And never, under no circumstance, should you leave your friend alone, lonely, or different. Acceptance is all that makes difference. Because it's all bhaichara and you never leave your bhai alone. It's important that we use social media and other media platforms, including newspapers and news channels, to discuss suicide and mental health more responsibly. Rather than considering suicide as a taboo, treat it as a crisis and discuss it accordingly with experts and survivors to generate more and more awareness among people. For those seeking help today, assistance, or understanding about suicide and mental health, all I can say is you can find a lot of videos and articles available online. So please go there and look up. I also request all the viewers today, irrespective of if this topic interests you or not, go online and read WHO's toolkit for the communities on suicide prevention. It is really, really helpful. Conclusively, as I understand mental well being, it's all about striking balance. A balance between needs and responsibilities, a balance between hustle and calm, a balance between energy and entropy. Dear audience, please note help is always, always, always available. Do visit National Telemental Health Program portal online where you can find toll-free numbers, Telemanus. Similarly, iCall is an initiative by Tata Institute of Social Sciences in collaboration with United Nations Population Fund for email and telephone-based counseling services. Also, there are other sources and there are other NGOs and organizations that provide such facilities. Remember, suicides have social, economical, and emotional consequences among friends and families and society at large. So, God forbid, the next time you face such suicidal instincts, ask yourself, should I hang in there just for one more day? And then stand tall before a mirror, look at your reflection, look deep into your eyes, and just like Hassan always reassured Amir, with a broad, broad smile, reassure yourself for you 1,000 times over. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You've always done justice. Yes, dear. Thank you so much, Shriya ma'am. You've always done justice to the platform. You've shared that so well, so powerfully. My dear friends, with this we come to an end now to the International Fab Talks for today. If you like what we are doing on the International Fab Talks, creating awareness. Awareness is the key to success. Awareness is the key to living a beautiful life. If you're not aware of what is going to happen around you or what is happening around you, what is happening with you, if you have no awareness about it, definitely you're going to suffer in silence or you'll be where you are. You have to need those wings to fly. Awareness, wear the wings of awareness and then fly high. I mean, you can change your thought process. When I say fly high is, that is in your thought process. Be more progressive, be more accepting, and be more open to change. Be ready for transformation. With this, we'd like to sign off now from the International Fab Talks. If you like what we are doing on the International Fab Talks, stay connected with us. Like, comment, subscribe, and share to the International Fab Talks. If you'd love to reach out to the International Fab Talks, you'd love to share your story confidentially or on the platform for the public, you're most welcome. We will share our details in the description. You can connect with us through our email or WhatsApp number. We would love you to live a beautiful life because life is really a gift. It's a one-time gift. Stay blessed and stay connected.